Project Sentinel, Episode 25. The Crystalline Key 1. High-gain surveillance. Hovering at the edge of the 24-hour mark, the Vigilant was no longer skipping. It had become a silent observer, holding position just outside the turbulent zone. Captain Kray stood motionless on the bridge, arms crossed, eyes fixed on the main screen. Bradley's fingers danced across his console as fresh data streamed in from the high-gain sensor array. "The debris field is denser than we thought," Bradley reported, voice low and tight. "It's not a normal asteroid belt. It's a localized gravitational eddy. These rocks are caught in a dark matter swirl, tumbling at relativistic speeds. If we hadn't sent the step pins first," he let the sentence hang. "We would have been shredded," Kray finished quietly. Zahn's voice crackled over the link from engineering. "The eddy stretches several light hours in every direction. Going around on conventional thrust would take months. We need to find a thin spot, a narrow corridor where the turbulence drops enough for a safe skip." The bridge was unnervingly quiet, broken only by the soft rhythmic pings of returning sensor echoes. Through the forward viewport, the crew could see a faint, hazy river of tumbling shadows against the stars, beautiful and lethal. 2. The science of the slides. Back on the Cradle, the science bay had become a sanctuary of focused intensity. Chief Jenks stood inside the resonance chamber with Vance watching from the observation gallery. The crystalline plates floated gently in their suspension field, glowing under cool blue diagnostic lights. "We're not just looking at maps," Jenks said, her voice filled with quiet reverence. "These plates are responsive. When we hit the exact frequency the step pins use." She triggered the pulse. The entire room transformed. Violet light erupted across the walls and ceiling, projecting a vast, living 3D map of interstellar space. A shimmering violet corridor twisted through the void, elegant, precise, and clearly intentional. It wove between gravitational hazards with impossible grace. Jenks zoomed in on the massive eddy currently blocking the Vigilant. The violet path narrowed, curved elegantly, and slipped straight through the chaos like a needle through silk. Vance leaned forward, eyes wide. They didn't just know about the eddy. They used it. 3. The gap in the dark. "The alien route treats the eddy like a landmark," Jenks continued, her excitement growing. "They factored the dark matter pull into their skip calculations. It's a gravity-assisted toss, something we've never attempted." She highlighted a specific coordinate set. "Captain, we have your gap. X, -17.1. Y, -10.8. Z, 5.4. It's narrow, less than a kilometer wide, but stable according to the plates." On the Vigilant, Bradley ran the numbers again, cross-checking against real-time sensor sweeps. "The turbulence on either side is chaotic, but the corridor itself reads clean. If the map is still accurate..." Kray studied the violet overlay now superimposed on their tactical display. The weight of trusting an alien map written millennia ago settled over the bridge. "Send the data packet," Kray ordered, "and pray their math is better than ours." The crew exchanged tense glances. Every second they waited felt heavier. This wasn't just navigation anymore. It was stepping into someone else's ancient footsteps. 4. The experimental toss. On the Vigilant, the new coordinates flickered onto the haptic terminal. The gap was less than a kilometer wide, a needle-thin passage through a storm of jagged iron. "It's a tight window, Captain," Bradley warned. "If the alien map is out of date by even a few centuries, the debris might have shifted into the corridor." "We use the remaining step pins," Kray commanded. "Zahn, launch step pin 17. Aim for the center of the gap. If it makes it through and pings from the other side, we follow." Step pin 17 prepped and targeted, Bradley announced. The small, iridescent sphere drifted out of the deployment bay and hung for a moment in the starlight. Then, with a brilliant emerald flash, it vanished into the gap. For 5 agonizing minutes, the bridge was dead silent. No one spoke. The only sound was the soft ticking of the chronometer. Then, a clean, sharp resonance ping echoed through the speakers. Step pin 17 made it. Alara's triumphant voice burst from the cradle. It's on the other side. Path is clear. The alien map is still accurate. A wave of relieved laughter and quiet applause rippled across the Vigilance bridge. Kray allowed himself a rare, tight smile. Helm, align us with the gap, he said. We're going through. The Vigilance drives began their familiar sub-harmonic buildup. Every crew member felt the tension coiling tighter. One wrong calculation, and they would be torn apart by relativistic debris. But they had the map. 5. Beyond the wall. Initiate the skip, Kray said. His navigator acknowledged the order with his hand steady on the command toggle. The ship flared brilliant emerald and vanished. A heartbeat later, the violent tumbling shadows of the Eddy were gone. The viewport revealed a pristine star field, sharp, cold, and eerily clear. They had passed through the wall. Skip completed, the navigator reported. Bradley's console chirped almost immediately. His face went pale. Captain, Step pin 17 didn't just survive the transit. It's detecting a secondary mass nearby. Large signature. Faint residual heat. Kray stepped closer. A planet? No, Bradley whispered. It's another hull signature. Same configuration as our relic, but this one is destroyed too. The bridge fell into stunned silence. Kray stared at the new contact on the display. A broken ghost waiting in the dark, perhaps for far longer than the first. Looks like we're not the only ones who tried to cross this stretch, he said quietly. On level 10, Ilara and Vance watched the golden line surge forward on the holomap, now pointing directly toward the new contact. The crystalline key had opened more than just a path. It had opened a question no one was ready to answer. The stars ahead felt suddenly heavier, and the silent horizon had just become a graveyard. This concludes today's episode of Project Sentinel. Please join our crew and subscribe for your twice-weekly episodes. We post each Tuesday and Friday at 1800.